Today's video, we're talking about 10 players that need to ball out the rest of the preseason. We've got 2 games left. These players need to ball out for specific reasons. They could be trying to make the roster. They could be jumping to make a starter role. All of that, we're going to get into it. But before we get into today's video, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be live for the Lions and Miami Dolphins game. We'll be live at noon on Saturday. The game starts at 1. Let's get this thing started. Now, again, the reasons that I have for these players are all different reasons. We're going to start with the first player here that I have here in Broderic Martin. Now, he actually, I thought, played pretty decent last preseason game, but he is trying to compete for the rest of just to make this roster right now. And even though that there is injuries to an Alim McNeil, we've had some injuries to the defensive line. Broderic Martin right now is at the end of the depth chart, and players such as Roy Lopez, Mekhi Wingo, even Nate Lynn, Pat O'Connor, they've jumped him. And so for Broderic Martin, for him, he needs to make this roster by balling out the rest of the preseason. It may not even affect them still because of the situation that's going on with him and in the roster. But if he wants any sort of chance to make this team, he has to ball out, or it's going to be curtains for Broderic Martin in Detroit. I still think it's kind of curtains. That's the way that I'm rolling with it. But if he wants to try, he's got to ball out. Again, we're going to be live for the game on Saturday. It will be noon is when I'm live. The game starts at 1. Subscribe. Let's get to 86,000. We're like 43 away from that. Dominic Lovett needs to ball out to make the roster as the number 6th receiver, and he has balled out. But for him to try to make this team, you got to continue to ball out because the depth on this whole team is really good, so every player counts. And if you're trying to make the team as a 6th receiver, you got to do it at receiver, even a special teams. You got to continue to ball, and he has balled out. He has, but he's got to continue to do that. Just has to. Mitchell Agude, I think it's curtains for him right now anyways. But the Lions potentially could be looking for another edge. He's been passed up by many folks on the depth chart. Al-Qadim Mohammed, even Nate Lynn, in my opinion, who can be on the inside and the outside, who's getting some time there. And we already got a position that's weak. Well, hell, we've been talking about should we get Zadarius Smith on this team because of the lack of pass rush. So if Agude wants to have a good day, he needs to come out in preseason versus the Dolphins, start making some noise, or else he's going to be making noise not on the Detroit Lions team. This player already have making the team because of the injuries that we have sustained to the offensive line. Kingley Eguakun. We lost our backup center for the year last week, and that absolutely sucks. Now, Kingley Eguakun is getting love before, well, I'd say about free agency period. But now he's making the team. But we need him to step up because we need to have a backup center. The center position right now is thin for the Lions. I mean, you got Graham Glasgow. There you go. Kingley Eguakun. The Lions need to have this position. I mean, Frank Ragnow retired. Graham Glasgow. I mean, it's not a good thing right now. So for him, he just needs to step up. I think he's already made the team. But just prove that he is good enough. Because, look, the Lions could look in a different direction if they really wanted to and other teams cut. I don't think that's going to be the case. We need to have a solid backup. It's just what this team needs. Next on my list here, how about a quarterback? Hendon Hooker. Oh my gosh, Hendon. You've been an absolute disappointment so far in preseason. The biggest disappointment, I think, on this whole team. You've looked completely lost, gone, and confused on the field. You got 2 preseason games left. If you want to be a Detroit Lion any longer, you have to ball out. It's do or die. I already think he's on eggshells like never before, getting pulled with 5 minutes to go, and then Dan Campbell upset that he fumbles the ball. So he's already on absolute thin ice to make this football team. If he wants any chance. And this could be a situation where, look, there's only so many backups in the NFL. I think he would still make a squad somewhere, but, you know, his career's running thin if you don't make the Lions 53-man roster. It's, you know, the NFL's average span of a player in the NFL is 3 years. There you go, right? So he is on eggshells, and he needs to perform, or he is going to be out. Again, we're going to be live for the game on Saturday. We'll be live at noon. The game starts at 1 p.m., so you can get your play-by-play, all of that. Next player needs to step up here now. And by the way, it's not in any specific order. I just placed them, so there's no, one is higher than 10. It's all the same to me. Giovanni Manu, though, is number 5 here that I have. Right now, he is number 3 tackle. He needs to really take that next step and go to number 2. I thought he did decent in training camp. He has made some strides, but he's not doing it fast enough. We need him to step up more. He's got to take more of a step. So he's got 2 preseason games to really fill that void. Can he hold the fort down? Not up and down. We need to have more up than down for Manu. This is year 2 for him. He's got to take a bigger step forward in the next 2 preseason games. He needs reps. And remember, we have a lot of injuries to the offensive line. That's another thing. It's not just the fact that we need him to, but there has been injuries to the offensive line. So we need him to step up. What if there is an injury? And we're going to have injuries to our offensive line. It's going to happen, right? Taylor Decker has been injured in the past. So we need to, and Dan Skipper's been injured, so we need him to step up. Isaac Ukwu, we've talked about edge. This is it for Isaac Ukwu. He's in the Agude camp. It's do or die for him and Agude. There is one spot available for the taken, potentially, not even fully, but potentially. They could throw it to a linebacker who does pass rushing skills, whatever they wanted to do. But Ukwu, oh boy, you need to go out there and make some. You need to go out there and make some noise, or just like the rest, you could be going to the practice squad, and then your career is running lower in the NFL. You're in the spot where you got to take that next step, or you're going to be taking the next step out the door. Next player on my list is for a completely different reason. And I know a lot of people, I put Tyliek Williams not because he's not a starter. He is a starter. He's great. We know what he's going to do. But we need him to step up just because he needs to get the reps for the regular season. And he's good at run stuff, and I thought he did pretty good in pass this past preseason game, his debut. I thought he really did good, to be honest with you, getting after the QB. So for Tyliek Williams, it's all reps, because we need him on Sundays. We need him on game day. He is a big part of this defensive line, and especially with Lee McNeil down for a period of time. Tyliek just needs those reps. That's all he does. I'm not even going to say anything else. He just needs reps. That's it for Tyliek. Yeah, I know it's annoying, But subscribe. We're about 43 away, and we're going to be live for the game on Saturday at noon. Next player on my list is for the same reason, Tate Ratledge. He is a starter. He is going to be the right guard for our Detroit Lions this year. Graham Glasgow will be the center. He needs just practice, time, and continuity. That is it. The whole offensive line basically needs continuity, but Tate Ratledge is a starter. He needs reps next to Panay, next to Graham. So these guys can understand each other, know what assignments got to go where. They're not thinking anymore. It just does it, because for the Lions to succeed this year, we need to have Jared Goff upright. We need to have those holes opened up for Jahmyr Gbbs and David Montgomery. Losing Kevin Zeitler and Frank Ragnow is a big deal. So we need Tate Ratledge to have those reps, and that's it. And just to get better each play for him. Last player I have on my list is Kyle Allen. Now, he is beating Hendon Hooker, and I do have him beating Hendon Hooker out, but it doesn't mean that that's going to be the Lions' backup quarterback. You could see a situation where they can go out and get somebody else. So he had a decent game. He had a pretty good game. I'll say a good game. This past preseason game versus the Atlanta Falcons. But remember, Hall of Fame game, he was cheeks, and now he's going against the Dolphins. And he's got he's got 2 preseason games to really show, can this guy be our backup quarterback? Continue to do what he did last week, and he will show that he can be. If he does the Hall of Fame game, the Detroit Lions could be looking at a different quarterback from a different football team. So just because you made the initial 53 does not mean that you made the roster fully, and that's facts. So give me your thoughts about your 10 players, my 10 players. What's your thoughts on that one? With that said, folks, adios.